How's it going, everyone? Guess what we're doing today? We are going to work on a little Poulan Pro 220 with a nasty case. Now, Poulan Pro is just a little bit better than your green Poulans. These are supposed to be the Pro series, but you know, okay, if you say so. They're good little homeowner saws. I have a Craftsman that I used the heck out of for about 18-20 years, and it finally wore out, you know, which they do. This one picked up at the auction, of course. This one I think I paid 20 or 25 for this. This one's been sitting in the shed for over a year. I bought this last summer, and I'm almost positive that it no runny. What's nice about the Poulan Pros is, you know, they have the chain brake, which most of your regular Poulans don't. Let's see, this looks like a brand new chain on it. Bar's in pretty good shape. Let's see, is that the... I don't know which helicopter that is. But we have to get this running and get it ready. Been sitting for over a year, so I know we're going to have to go over the carburetor, which I do on all of them. I don't know if we're going to need a complete kit in it or not. We'll find out when we get into it. It has good compression. We'll run a compression check on it. We'll check for spark and, you know, do all the fun stuff to it to see if we can't get this running and put it back into service. Because from the feels of the compression, she has really good compression, but it could be that it's just got a lot of oil in the cylinder. I've had that happen to me quite a few times, where I bought a chainsaw, I've pulled on it and it had really good compression. You get it home and get it all cleaned up, get gas in it, and it smokes for a while, runs, smokes for a while. God, a bunch of little critters running all over it. Smokes and runs for a little while, and then when the smoke clears up, it stalls. And then you pull on it and there's no more compression left to it. So, you know, it's another trick to sell them at the auction, is to put oil in the cylinder so you have really good compression. You know, people think, okay, it's just been sitting for a while, it's got really good compression, we can, you know, fix it and get it going. But actually it's a fool's game. They oil down the cylinder, it has really good compression while it's at the auction. You get it running, it burns all the oil out of it, and then you have no compression left. So you're left with a pile of dookie. But this one, we don't know. We're going to find out. We'll pull the cover off of it, take the bar and chain, and we'll start getting into it and see what we have to do to get this running and put it back into service. So let me go grab some tools and we will get started on tearing this down and see what we got to do. Alright, as you can see, that the 220 is a 38cc. You know, it's not a powerhouse. 38cc, you know, 16-inch bar is ideal on a 38cc. You can run up to an 18, but you lose an awful lot of chain speed. And this has one of those newfangled handy dandy chain tighteners. No more messing with the screw, but on these you can put a regular chain adjuster in them if you need to. You know, if you can't get the bar, one of these self-adjusting bars, you can get a, let's see, that looks like a brand new chain. Bar, yeah, she got a ridge on her, that's for sure. I have to clean that off. Just a little bit bent right down in here. It's got a little bit of a bend in it. Probably somebody fell with it, stabbed it into the ground. Okay, now can you see what the hell's going on? Not really. There we go. Get the top cover off of this guy. Yeah, a little dirty. Not too bad. Okay, now looks like a new plug. Oh, jeez. One of those nasty NGKs. Yeah. Okay, I didn't bring a spark plug socket with me, so bear with me as I chase tools back and forth. And it also doesn't look like our AV are all stressed out on it. Yep, there's usually two. One here and one here. Let's see. And then you have one here. Those are your AVs. There. Okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 AV springs. AV meaning anti-vibration. So when you're running it, these springs will take the vibration out of it and not run it up through your hands. You have less fatigue as you're running it, in theory. Yeah, she's set really, really close. You know what that means is we probably have bad spark. I think I can get you to lay up her. Okay, on. There, I think you'll stay there. I'm going to look right down in there and see if you can see any spark. If you do, let me know. Not like that, you're going to. See if I can hold that down at the same time and see if I can get zapped. Okay, you ready? Ooh. I found a little tangle. And I don't see squat. Let's get another plug and see what we can come up with a different. Okay, I got a Bosch. Let's test out a Bosch on it. Why I say ooh on NGK is because at one point I bought 3 boxes of NGKs. I think there was 10 plugs per box, and I had to go through all 3 boxes to get 2 plugs that would work. And after that, I said I'd never use NGK again. Now, if somebody wants them and wants me to order them, I'll order them in. I do not carry them. I do not like them. But, you know, that's just me. You may have just great luck with NGKs. I don't. There you go. Nice blue spark. Where that NGK had nothing. It just, I don't know. I touch them and they don't work. What the hell? Seems like somebody, that's better. I had some crud or something. You know. Now, let's do the sniff test. She's bone dry. That's good. Not. It needs to age some more. But yeah, it's aging quite nicely. Let's see, get rid of that thing. I'll throw that as far as I can. Okay, how about if we put a little gas down the carburetor throat, and let's see if it'll run. Hoo-hoo. Missed more than anything. I don't think I got any in there. Well, since that's not going to work, how about if we just give it a little shot right down the plug hole. A little gas right down its hole. Maybe a little too much. Put it on fast idle. I may have to put it down. Alright, now if there was any oil, somebody oiled that cylinder, it should have burned it all out. let me go get the compression tester. I don't know if I can get this where you can see it. Okay, it's still on fast idle. I may have to put this down on the ground so I can get a good pull on it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to, or I'm gonna jerk it right off the table. Let me go right down there. We have about 130, it's like about 132 and a half. So we're really good. When they get down to about 90, I usually don't even bother with them at 90 pounds. They'll run, but they're not going to be very strong. You can get them to run all the way down at about 60, because they will come up a little bit with the oil and your gas, you know, and all that. It'll come up a little bit, but you can never get them to run right, and it takes forever to get them started. You'll pull your arm off, get them started at that. 90 pounds, they'll run, like I said, but they're not as strong as what they should be. 132 and a half. Normal on a brand new saw. I've run compression tests on brand new saws, and they'll run between 150 and 160 on a brand new saw. So you figure 132 and a half, there's a lot of hours left on this saw. Even though it's a, you know, not a real good saw, but great for a homeowner to use. This one, let's see, 2002 US EPA Phase 2. That shouldn't be the, could be the date of this one, because it doesn't have all that other crap on it. So it could be a 2002. Durability period 50 hours on these Poulan Pros. That's the same as that stinking weed eater, that leaf blower that we worked on. Didn't puke any oil. Well, it'll run a little bit. Oh shit. Excuse me. Oh, no, I don't want to strip that out. Yeah, we need to see if there's any oil in it, because it didn't puke any oil when it was run a little bit. Yeah, it's got oil in it. Got half a tank of oil, but had no gas. Is that telling you anything? Like maybe the oiler is not working, or it just didn't run long enough for it to start oiling. That we'll have to figure out later on. Okay, now, okay, we know it'll run. It's got really good compression. The only thing stopping it now is a carburetor, probably carburetor and fuel, unless we have bad crank seals. Crank seals on these, I normally don't have a problem with the crank seals in this style. There's 4 bolts here in the bottom. You take those 4 bolts out and your top part of your jug comes up off, and usually the panel lay in there. The crank seals on these are part of the bearing. So the bearing is a big rubber, has a big rubber coating on it, and the rubber goes all the way down to the crankshaft, and that's your seal. Your crank seals is that's what pumps your gas in through your carburetor and up through to the top of the cylinder. If your crank seals are leaking, you know, you have to choke the hell out of them and dump a lot of gas in them to get them to run, because it takes so much. There's not enough pressure to charge the top of the piston, top of the cylinder. As it pushes down, it pushes up the fuel and air mixture and charges it. With leaky crank seals, it goes down and it tries to push, but you lose too much through your crank seals, and it can't get it up to the top. But once you get enough gas laying in there, it can push enough up for it to get running. And then when it starts, it'll run, and it just will smoke like hell and bog down, and then it'll clear up, and then it'll stall. So there's can always be a problem with your crank seals on any 2-stroke. Bad crank seals, hard starting is mainly your big problem. And then after it's running, if it will stay running, eventually what it does is it'll chew up the cylinder, because now it's too lean. You're running less gas and it's too much air, and it'll fry. So, you know, you have to watch. You know, but if your bottom end's good and your top end's good, it's carburetor, fuel filter. And that's what we're going to tackle next, is we're going to get this carburetor off. We'll get our carburetor rebuilt, cleaned all up. We'll get everything cleaned up on this saw. And then we'll put a new fuel filter in it, check our fuel lines, make sure they're not all deteriorated from the ethanol. This one, there's usually no aspirator screens in these ones. It's just you exhaust out through the back, and then it shoots it out. And this will knock down sparks. It actually blowing up against here will knock sparks down and keep them in kind of contained and not really flying out where you're catching grass and dry tinder on fire. But yeah, and then after we get her running, then we'll have to check our oiler, make sure our oiler's good and it's oiling good. Because if you have no oil, then you have a sticky bar, and then you burn shit up. So, let us take the carburetor off of this and get started on it. Okay, I think we'll get this carburetor off of here, and I'm going to call it a night. It's about 7 o'clock. And I was down at the outdoor market all day. A little slow today. Usually first of the month is good, but it's just getting tougher and tougher. Let's see, let me get gotta get our fuel line, our cable out of here. There we go. Let's see, do I have... No, I don't. Okay, again, chase tool. Okay, let's get our choke rod, our choke, pull the hell out of there if we can. Somebody has boogered that one up pretty bad. So let's Got to get that choke rod out of there. Usually if you just squeeze the end of them, they normally pop right out of there. There we are. Show you what I was fighting with. So we got our, just squeeze these together and then you can get behind it with a screwdriver and pull it through. Most of the time you can just get a hold of it, squeeze it, and they come out, but like I said, that one's a little boogered up. Throttle cable. That one just came off of our purge bulb. And this is our return. On these one, it actually pulls gas through the purge bulb to run, to supply the carburetor. Purge bulb pulls it up from the tank, goes through the purge bulb, through here, and into the carburetor. Like I've told you before, I call them a purge bulb because all they do is purge the air from your fuel system through your carburetor. Pulls gas up, shoves it in through your carburetor, and expels all the air. And you just keep pumping it until you have a solid fuel going through your bulb. And then you're ready, and it'll start. These ones, if you pull the, you can get the locks right off. Now there's one, the other one's on the ground. I never put them back on anyway. So it doesn't look like anybody's been in this one for quite a while. There's the other one. These two lock your adjustment. So you can only go so far and then they lock up. That's so you don't lean them out too much as a homeowner and burn it up. And if you want to clean everything else up, you can pull your throttle cable out, and you can clean that up. So your throttle cable just goes right in through here. And the casing itself just locks right in that groove. And then the cable goes around, and this is the little slide. I know it looks like a crappy design, but I'll tell you, I haven't run across any that has actually wore through. Now we can clean this all up, and we can rebuild our carburetor, which will be in another video, or another video, on another day, I should say, because it's 7 o'clock. And I'm getting tired. We'll get this all apart because we're going to get it all cleaned up as well before we put her back together. Take a look under it, see how she looks. A little crusty. Yeah, that's normal. Normal dirt. All it is sawdust and oil. On 2 strokes, you get a lot of oil residue coming out of the muffler, and just there's always, and you have oil residue always on these things. Your bar and chain oil is oiling your bar, and as it oils the bar and you cut wood, the sawdust gets impregnated with the oil from your bar, and then it flies up and your saw sucks it up. So you're always having oil soaked sawdust covering your saw on the inside. Doesn't hurt nothing, but it sure doesn't hurt to get them cleaned out so they'll cool better. Just helps with the longevity. God, that rag stinks. Whew. That was from another project that had some vintage gas in it. Need to get rid of that thing. But we'll get her all cleaned up. We'll get the carburetor rebuilt. New. Did I see one in there? Guess what? There's no fuel filter in it either. So we'll be working on some fuel lines on this guy. Goes all the way to the back, and all the way to the back. Change your, oh, toady, misspoke. Fuel line, purge bulb, carburetor. Hits your purge bulb and it draws gas up this way, purges the air through, then goes through your primer bulb and down, and deposits it back in the tank. This is your fuel line. I thought this one pulled it through the purge bulb, but misspoke. Sorry. That one, there's one of them that does. And I know if these are cracked or, you know, or leaking, they will not run. I'm joking there somewhere. Okay, I'm done for tonight. We'll pick this up tomorrow when I get home from the market. Let's get this carburetor tore down and see what she looks like on the inside. Let's see. This is the high. Oop. Before we just run that out, should be about 1 3/4. Half. 1. 1 1/2. Yep, 1 3/4. That's where usually they're always set. Lows usually about the same, 1 1/2, 1 3/4. Half. 1, 1 1/2, 2. Get our low out. Our low jet is a little bit taller. So remember that. If we can get it put back in where it belongs. We're inside working on this today. I got home a little late, and it's supposed to rain. So we are working inside at the workbench. Boy, is it hot. It's about 93 here today with about the same amount of humidity. Yeah, let's see if we can get him off of there without ruining it. But she's crap. I don't know if you can hear it. And it's like, it has some pliability left to it, but it's pretty much like paper. Need a better screwdriver. This side is where our fuel pump is. These ones usually don't go bad, but you know, if you're going to put one thing in, you put it all in. I doubt if I'll be able to save that. Suppose I could leave it on there, but now you can see on this one the crud, all the sawdust in the screen. This one, we're going to have to pull the Welch plug. Is there only one, or is there two in this one? Let's see. No, we got our high speed iron right there for a Welch plug, and that's our low Welch plug. So we're going to have to get into those and see if they're dirty. A lot of times when you see a screen full of sawdust like that, usually it's in the Welch plugs as well. So I gotta go get something to get them out with. These Welch plugs they're real soft aluminum. You know, it's kind of like a soft plug in a car. If you can get a little hole in them, there she is. Now she's pretty clean in there. Probably didn't, you know, we didn't have to take them out, but with the amount of dirt that is in that screen, this is what came out of the screen. That just popped out of there. All that is, that's like a little mat of sawdust. Look at that. That's what just popped out of that screen. So you know that starving a little bit. I think the other one, since that was that's our low, I think we're going to leave the rest of them, the other one, in there, because I feel pretty confident that the rest of it's pretty clean. But we need to pull this screen out of here. Alright, there we go. So we clean that, and we're going to have to pull the tipper on this one as well. Man. Let me try that. Got a storm coming. Wind's picking up. That still feels good. Let's see, this side, that one we don't have to worry about. We can leave that gasket alone. Again, this one, we should or we could put it in the ultrasonic cleaner, but you know, I see a lot of guys using the ultrasonic cleaner on every one of their carburetors. If they are really nasty, you know, like I've said before, that's the idle circuit. It's good too. You know, I've cleaned them this way for years and years, and never had a problem with. I didn't boil them in the ultrasonic and clean them. These little carburetors, usually pretty, you know, unless you get an old saw that's really rough and beat up, or just had a lot of water in it. There we go. Good. She's about ready. We can gotta find a Welch plug and a couple of get a diaphragm, metering pocket, and our diaphragm, and we can put that back together. There's one other thing I do want to check on that, and what I normally do is I check to see how flat these are on this surface right here. A lot of these aluminum carburetors will warp a little bit, and then you will leak when you put your diaphragm on there and all that. So I like to check them. Normally what I do is I get a piece of like 600 grit sandpaper and put it on a flat surface and sand it a little bit and see where my witness marks are, and see how, if you know, cupped in the middle. A lot of them, they'll get cupped, and if you sand them out, they'll straighten out. I've run into that a lot on the Walbros. Not so much on the Zamas or the Tillistons, the little Tillistons. Yeah, I've run into that a lot on those ones too. But it's just over time the aluminum gets hot and cold, hot and cold, hot and cold, and they kind of warp a little bit and get funky. This is supposed to help with you have your center screw so you can screw it down, but you know, sometimes it's so bad that they just will not seal up good. So I'll find my sandpaper and all that and a good flat surface, and we'll check this one out and see how it is. Just for gits and shiggles. Okay, I think I got my crap together here. This is 1500. And if it's bad, we will just a little bit of silicone lubricant. On this one you have to watch, you have your tab that sticks out for your throttle, so you're going to have to kind of stick that along the edge. And like I said, I do this to every one of my Walbros. The Zamas not so much. You can see the only thing we are looking at is milling marks from when it was milled. Out here a little bit, might be a little high in the center. Let me get just that silicone lubricant's okay. But it dissipates too quick. It's looking pretty good. Still a little low down in here around our filter screen and metering. That's what I'm going to do, and I'll bring you back after I get her all straightened out. Alright, we got that pretty well flattened out. There's just a few little marks. A little bit of low spot right here in the middle, but I see we're contacting. Now we'll be contacting around it, around our screen here too. And that's a hell of a lot better than what it was. Trust me, I've had them when they were, I've gotten them where they've been really cupped. And they're just leaking right straight around the gasket and everything. And been able to straighten them out with just kind of putting them on a piece of bar stock and using some, I was using 1500 on this one because it's not that bad, you know, but it was bad enough to where it needed leveled out a little bit more, so our diaphragm and that'll fit on it, or lay on it a lot better, and our flappers will seal up better. Now, I don't know if I have a WT kit, Walbro WT Walbro kit, or if I'm gonna have to piece one together. Biggest thing is I gotta get a Welch plug. Need to get a Welch plug in there. I guess let me see what I can round up and see if we can't get enough stuff to put this carburetor back together and get it functional again. Okay, I grabbed a bunch of kits I have that are some partial kits that, you know, I've used stuff out of. These ones here, we know none of these are gonna fit because these are for Bing carburetors. You can see the Bing carburetor actually has a plastic tipper in it, tipper valve. Here we got that's a WAT. We need that pump. A lot of these kits come with different pumps because they're, you know, they'll fit different carburetors. This one could actually be used again, but I'm not going to. Yeah, there's a, nope, that one, that's different. So is that. Here's this guy, we can use it. It has the little hole on it. It goes up top for the purge bulb that mounts on the carburetor, but we can use it because we can, all we have to do is we can trim him off a little and use that for our metering pocket. So we do have a good, we'll keep that out. That one, go through a lot of these carburetor kits, and like I said, there's another WAT. And like I said, you don't use everything in them. That one, no, still has that spot on it that we can't use. No. Looks like that's all going to be the same there. Everything's the same in that one. I can order a kit, but it's just going to take a while for it to come in. Aha. There is a let's see if that Welch plug will fit. Yep. Good. We got our Welch plug. I think the only thing we're lacking now is a pump. That's a big carburetor. SDC is a big carburetor. Yeah, there's a couple more Welch plugs. Big carburetor. Nothing left in that one. What do we got? That's another WAT, and that's going to have all the same in it. Another WAT. Nope, still has the wrong. These all have that same. That's another WAT, but the pumps are all close, but no QB doll. Let me see if come here. We can use that one. Yep. Those two holes will be covered up with the gasket. There's our gasket. Yep. I think we got everything. Oh, we need I did find a good metering pocket. So we have all that too. And we'll use that. And we got the Welch plug. Looks like we got everything. We can put this carburetor together. Get the rest of this crap put back in here. And yeah, we can start getting this, and I'll get set up and we can start getting this carburetor back together. Now, first thing we need to do is get our Welch plug put back in. These Welch plugs, they're a dome, and if you put them in, getting him right down in the hole, then what you do is you just take your flat punch, put it right in the middle. Okay, what are we hitting on? Let's see if I can get him down a little flatter. And just dimple it right in the middle. And what it does is, since it's a dome, when you smack it, it expands. And then what I normally do is to make sure that it's sealed. Oop, that's a little too much. Is I will take some nail polish and I'm gonna have to clean that. I got a little too much down on there. Yeah, it's better. See, if you put a little nail polish on it, what it does is it'll go down in that, right down in, all along the seam where it seats. Where it seats down in there. Put a little bit of nail polish on it. Now you choose whatever color you like. And all I'm doing is forcing that nail polish all along the edge, and it'll seal that all up. And just in case there's a little bit of an air gap, you know, where a little bit of fuel can seep. Seep from around it. And all it does is seal it up. I use nail polish because it's, you know, really thin. There we go. You don't want to use anything too heavy or it gets down in everything. You know, you get too bulky in it if you try and use silicone or something like that. So I just use a little bit of nail polish. And so if you open up a carburetor and you see nail polish, that's usually one of mine. Okay, this is the crap. Yeah, that's crap. We need to get rid of that. Now we need to let that dry a little bit. While that's drying, we have a new screen. That one's pretty small. That one's pretty small. I don't have another one. I may have to clean the original. Over here. Let me take that and clean that, and we'll have to use the old screen. Now get our tipper lever. I think I forgot to push record when I was doing the jets and all that. But you'll be just in time to watch me struggle with this little valve, this little lever. Yep, about flat across there. I can't even see what I'm looking at. Here we go. Our little tipper lever is level with the inside of the carburetor, and if you push it down, it moves your valve. Now, let's see, do I... There, let's see, is that... Too big. Alright, now we're ready to put it back on the saw. Get rid of a bunch of this other crap. And we'll get her put on the saw after I get the saw cleaned up.